Joseph.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? It's been a long time since we've done one of these.
It's been too long. I'm
I
excited to
know,
be
I know.
back.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing, man. I know as we were sitting down planning this out, we were so excited to get back on here I mean, obviously we missed a lot. But we just gonna pick up where the sports world is right now. And of course that's about the Paris Olympics.
hmm
The winter Summer Olympics of 2024. And so yeah, I guess we'll just start there because we do have a lot on the plate
It's
in
gonna be
this
one of those mega
August month
episodes.
in Texas where it's hot. So let's get heated up. Let's talk about this. So, what are your thoughts, man, on the Paris Olympics?
Uh, I mean, no one can say anything about the USA not being a dominant sports country. That's
Mm,
my first initial thought. I mean, we won the most
mm,
medals in like 40 years of any
mm.
country, something like that. I mean, we were medaling in sports that I wouldn't have even imagined us medaling. Like
Yeah,
canoe slalom, we got a medal in. The girl was like, I think she was like 21. It's crazy stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, our dominance with the Summer Olympics just continued.
hmm I mean, we were tied
Which
with China in gold medals, but as
yeah,
far as the overall medal count, yeah, we
mhm.
we were yeah we were pretty badass.
Which is cool because I feel like that. What that tells me is basically with almost every event, we were at least competitive. Like we were
Mm-hmm,
always in it with almost every event. So that was pretty
mm-hmm,
cool.
mm-hmm,
I didn't get to see the opening ceremony, which kind of bummed me out because I had a work thing. I watched a little bit of the repeat of it, so I thought it was pretty cool with how they did it all on the river.
mm-hmm.
One thing I missed that I was really sad about, and I just overheard it from somebody. There is a metal band called Gojira that's from France, and apparently they took part of the opening ceremony at some point. Like they did a song, which I thought was super cool just
Interesting.
because I'm a big metalhead. But that was cool to me. So, but
Yeah.
so other than that, I mean, I thought it was cool. Loved that our men's gymnastic team, claimed their first overall team medal since '08. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Christopher is quickly becoming my second best friend. When he got on
That's
that
good.
pummel horse, I was like on the edge of my couch, like sweating bullets. I'm like, oh my God, this is the one event he's been brought in
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
But no, they were good. They were entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Good. Yeah, honestly, really, I don't know. I was thinking, and I was just like, I don't know why, but I'm really like, really enjoying the Paris Olympics, and I was just like, but why am I really enjoying these Olympics? Like, what is it? And if you think about it, 4 years ago, COVID. And so we
Yeah.
didn't really have, uh, the Olympics as it should be, filled with fans and people cheering on their country and all that stuff. It definitely wasn't the Olympics it should have been. This Olympics is what the Olympics should be. And so that's
hmm
what I really took from this is just, it's not just, I mean, yeah, you're seeing other countries, play, but it's different when it's the USA, man.
Yeah.
It's just, just cheering, even though I don't know much about, you know, certain sports, but just like, dude, I was watching Batman. I didn't watch Batman, but I was watching. I was like, man, this is like indeed. Table tennis was amazing. Like just all these sports, just rooting on our country. It's just been, it was just spectacular, man. It was just something to watch. I mean, obviously from the USA men's basketball team claiming gold again. You had the women's USA claiming gold again. It was just really cool to see. I mean, obviously with the gymnastics and Simone Biles leading the way, it's just, it was just so fun to see. We even had like the USA rugby women doing
Yeah.
great things, the women's on top, it's just mean, you were seeing records being broken left and right.
Yeah.
It was really spectacular to see. I had a great time watching the Olympics. And honestly, it's just it I think it's something that the sports world needed because again, that 4 years ago in the whole world, not
Yeah.
just the USA, shut down. And to see, us like just united and coming back together and just seeing, how much it means to these athletes. It was just
Mhm.
yeah, it was just a sight to behold. It was something that I really enjoyed. I will point out though, I think that, if the the one thing that we do have is Katie Ledecky in swimming,
Oh
right? But
man.
we don't have a men swimming.
Yeah.
Like that kid Leon Machon, I think his
Oh,
name
he was.
was.
I liked what. Like, I kind of found
Yeah,
myself rooting for him too, though.
yeah,
Like, mm,
it's spectacular, dude. But we need that Nathan Phillips, and I don't know where Nathan Phillips is, because he was sweeping us all off
oh
the
my
map.
god.
But he was killing it. But yeah, it was, it was. I think it was more highlights for us than it was, less highlights.
Hmm.
And then in the beginning, when it first started, the conversations of or just all over social media, oh, why the USA, they're here with this goal and they're not winning that goal and they're what the USA needs to do better. But at the end of the day, we
Yeah.
wound up, with the most medals and we tied for the most gold.
Hmm.
So, it
Yeah.
was, yeah, I was super excited about it. So,
That's
uh,
awesome.
but a great question that you suggested and brought up is, would you rather win Olympic gold or win a major championship, as in the NBA finals, the World
Hmm.
Series, the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup, something like the Masters. Like,
Yeah.
would you rather win gold or win one of the major sports? So I throw it to you. What would you rather do, Joseph?
So this was my question, and I thought long and hard of it, and I kept vacillating. Eventually,
Mhm.
I would rather win a gold medal. And
Mm.
my reasoning is, while I think that feeling of like raising the Stanley Cup or like kissing the Lombardi trophy, that was something euphoric, and I wouldn't even know what to compare it to because I've never gotten to do it.
Hmm.
I think the history and the lore and just everything that goes on with being an Olympian, it just means so much more. It's something that
Hmm.
comes every 4 years,
Hmm.
and it's something the whole world watches.
Mm.
And it's, when you think about it, the thing I kind of weirdly like about the Olympics is you have these athletes like a Katie Ledecky. Like, I didn't know who Leon Marchand was until these Olympics.
Hmm.
There were
Hmm.
all these athletes, unless you're like hardcore into that sport, you don't really hear about for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And then for 2 weeks, you're just fixated on these people.
Mm.
And I can only imagine in the athlete's head, this is their time to like show everybody all of the hours of training they've been putting in behind the scenes. And it comes down to like one or two events. Something like the 100-meter race in track and field. I mean, Noah Lyles is training and training and training. And that event lasts what? 2 minutes, if that?
Not even.
Yeah.
Like seconds, yeah.
Seconds you
A
have
100 meter. Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
for eternity, like glory for
Yeah.
eternity. And that race
Mm-hmm.
was literally what they say, like 0.005 seconds he won it by.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To me, that would just be such a feeling that I don't think anything would compare to that. And that's something that no one can ever take away from you, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would want an Olympic gold. I think the history behind it, it would mean just a little bit more than the other trophies.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah. So this one I actually was thinking about too a lot. I was like, okay, obviously because you know me, I'm a huge golf guy.
Yeah.
Like I would like winning. I mean, you know, because you've played and you know we've watched the sport, and it is hard to golf. Like it
Yeah.
is like being a golfer is something that's I think is one of the toughest sports to do. Being a, you know, being a baseball player,
Mhm.
to be Aaron Judge for a day, I would love to be.
Mhm.
I mean, seeing 100-mile Powerball come towards you and try to hit it out of a park, dude, that's unbelievably tough. Um, to run around in football, to be a quarterback and watching these, you know, linebackers trying to take you down and get the ball out of your hand. It's tough. You know, it's tough to do. Being Steph Curry, shooting the ball and turning around and not even watch it go in. I mean, this is unbelievable. Like, I would love to get in one of these pro athletes' foot shoes and just play in their shoes for a day just to get that feeling. But I am going to agree with you. It doesn't have to be gold. It can be bronze or silver. I don't care. Metal. And the reason why, and again, I had to sit back and think, but why would I choose that metal, right? But to your point, especially with, I'm glad you brought up Noah Lyles because a few years back he said, you know, why is the NBA the world champ? Like, what are they the world
Yeah.
champions of? The U.S. Like that does which something it's not bad. It is it is rare, right? I think we had this conversation on our podcast a while ago. It is rare to have a long-term career in any sport. You know, to have in this 10 years, you know, I think that like I think it was it basketball, it was like 3 to 4 years or something like that. Oh, it was football, it was one of them.
Yeah.
Like the life expectancy inside of sports is tough. It's tough. People retire young. Some, you know, don't get opportunities to play again. Like you have to have a special talent to last a long time in any sport. Um and so and I'll use a great example, you know, something like the Super Bowl, right? Like you can win the Super Bowl one year and then during the offseason get traded and not play for that same team anymore. And now you're like, okay, now it's time for me to root for, you know, I'm not playing for this team anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're my enemy. Now I'm rooting for the team I'm on now, you know? But playing for your country, like you can't get traded for playing for your country,
Yeah.
right? Then another thing, right? Like I mentioned before, like there are so many athletes in the US that's playing for different teams. You know, you have on let's say I use baseball for example and I use my Yankees. Aaron Judge here. But then everybody else, you know, they don't have the same uh they don't have the same athleticism or
Yeah.
that same passion and they just don't have that inside of them like Aaron Judge does, right? So imagine being in a place where we're taking athletes from around the world and saying, yo, you're the best at this and you're the best at this. Let's bring you together and see who is actually the best at this, you know? And so I just think to call myself, you know, and even that's why I said, even if I got Bronx, you're saying if I got the Bronx and you know swimming, you're telling me I'm the third best
Yeah.
swimmer in the
The
world?
entire world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, bruh, like that is just that is mind. But so you know, I am with it, and you know what? And I'm glad I'm going down this route, and I'll continue talking, and I'll hand it off to you because the next question, right, we have today is, you know, it was going back to the Olympics, is because of the talk of what's going on with Simone Biles and her dominance in gymnastics is she the greatest Olympian of all time? And this was a great question that you posed also. And I'll just continue down what I'm saying about being the best in the world. Um, I right now, um if Simone Biles um continues this, like as far as if she plays in the 2028 um I can't even think, 2028 Olympics, then I would say there's a good chance that her she can be up there, right? Without a doubt. But what Michael Phelps, the dominance that he did. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he had 28 or 29 gold medals, I mean, Olympic medals, and like 23 of them were gold. Like to get gold, to say you're the best in the whole world 23 times, like there was no one near you during that during his time of dominance. Like there was no one near him. There was no one who can touch him. This dude did things that like it's like one of those, you know, he is the reason why people started watching swimming in the Olympics. I don't know if Simone Biles did the same thing with gymnastics. That's what I don't know. Maybe she did because again, her name is posted all over the place, right? Um, and so again, her name, like from 2020, her name, was out there. I mean, we could go back to 2016, but 2020, it's just her name keeps going up, and now it's there too. That's why I said in 2028, if she continued this dominance, um, then maybe we can start having this conversation of is she the greatest of all time? Right now, though, if I'm speaking right now, I'm gonna say Michael Phelps is. She's not there just yet. I think she's in the double digits with how many medals she has, but it's nowhere near Michael Phelps. So that's why I'm gonna stick to Michael Phelps.
Okay. So awesome stuff. I liked everything you said, and you were right. It's 28 medals and then 23 gold medals for Michael Phelps. So again, I think the larger conversation to me, and I think the more interesting point is she the greatest athlete of all time? Not just Olympian, but like is she the great? Because I've been hearing this a lot, like during these Olympics, is she is the greatest athlete on earth. That to me is, and let's bring Michael Phelps in because Michael Phelps at one point, that's a lot of people said that about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the greatest athlete of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I'm at with that, and I'm gonna say no. And it's listen, like Simone Biles, unbelievable. Like what she's
Mm-hmm.
done is insane. I can't even imagine how hard she works.
Real,
Same with Michael
real,
Phelps.
real quick. So if we're saying like you're saying athlete like of all time, so we're including
Of
like uh,
every
yeah, yeah.
sport,
I
no matter
mean,
what.
but
Like,
but like over the history of sports existence.
yeah, of
Okay,
all
okay,
time,
okay,
every
okay.
sport. I'm talking
Uh-huh.
baseball, basketball, football,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
soccer, cricket, like rugby, like whatever sport you want. Like, because when
Mm-hmm.
people say, and maybe they don't mean it like this, but when I hear that they're saying somebody is the greatest athlete, I'm thinking of every single athlete I've watched,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what sport. And my issue with that is the problem is every sport is so different. So my example would be, how do you compare what Simone Biles did, to your point, to what Michael Phelps did?
Right.
Gymnastics is different than swimming. How do you compare what Michael Phelps did to what Tom Brady did? To where the guy in his mid 40s would hike the ball back and he has basically 5 seconds to run away from a 250-pound man of pure muscle whose only goal is to take his head off. It's a hard comparison. So I almost like to. I'm not a big fan of the greatest athlete of all time conversation because how
Mm-hmm.
do you compare these sports? How do you compare Lionel Messi to LeBron James or to Michael
Yeah.
Jordan? Like Lionel Messi isn't even he's not even 6 foot and runs around a soccer field with elite speed and precision. Where Michael Jordan is jumping from a free throw line to the hoop and dunking. So, I mean, greatest gymnast of all time? Probably. I'll give her that. I mean, I'd have to look at the medal count exactly, but
Mhm.
she, to your point, she's not only dominated the sport in wins, but she's brought the sport to a larger audience and
Yeah.
has brought it to the forefront. Like, not a lot of, like, I'm not gonna say not a lot of people, but I feel like gymnastics was kind of fading from the spotlight until 2016 when she kind of brought it back. And
Yeah.
again, same with Phelps. Like Phelps brought swimming to the forefront. But greatest athlete of all time, I don't know. That's a hard label to put on somebody, I think.
Yeah. I agree. And again, Olympian, I'm going with Michael Phelps. Without a
Mhm.
doubt, I think he's the greatest Olympian of all time. If we talk about athlete, throughout history, if in my humbling and own opinion, if I had to put somebody at the top to be the best athlete, Michael Phelps would be in the top three, maybe top five, maybe. But number one for me is Michael Jordan, without a doubt. I think
Okay.
Michael Jordan. I just think he transcend he transcended a sport, not just uh um one or two things, like he did something for a team, or oh my god, like this and that, like what, but he did it for an entire sport. I think Michael Jordan, without a doubt, what he did on the court and off the court is something that probably about, I mean, LeBron tried to, um Tom Brady tried to, but to this day, people are still in awe of Michael Jordan, for what he did. I mean, here in other countries, his legacy lives on with, the Jordan brand. Um, yeah, without a doubt, I just think what he did for a sport, I'm putting him there. And then also, I mean, I wasn't born during this time, but from the stories that I've seen and the footage that I've watched and just things that you hear, is that the what Muhammad Ali did for
Hmm.
a culture,
Yeah.
I think it's something that was so impactful that, yeah, if we talking of all time, what he was able to do in the ring and outside of the ring, I think was something that, again, a lot of people don't stand up for what they believe in these days, because again, look what Colin Kaepernick did, and he's nowhere to be
Yeah.
found. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, what Muhammad Ali did for, black people, for boxing, for just human rights, like just all that stuff, he's definitely one of my tops also. And so yeah, but so to your point though, yeah, I will say that, yeah, Olympians, and then of all time athletes, definitely, yeah, I don't think she's there. Yeah, as far as Olympian, yeah, I get her in there, but as far as athletes, no, I don't think so just yet.
Yeah,
So
a lot of good points there. I like that you brought up Muhammad Ali, and you brought up something interesting. This is why I was kind of hesitant to have this question, because I think this is a way, like, we could probably have a whole episode on this.
yeah, for
When
sure.
we look at athletes and greatness, like, there's two ways you can look at it. Are you strictly looking at their accomplishments in their sport,
Hmm.
or do we have to take into account the overall cultural, social, like, outside of the sport impact? Muhammad Ali, you mentioned, huge cultural icon. What he did with the Vietnam
Hmm.
War, that was pretty unheard of at the time.
Hmm.
Uh, Jordan marketed himself probably to this day better than any athlete ever has. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody wanted Air Jordans because I
Hmm.
want to be like Mike. You had the whole movie based off it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, but at the end of the day, when we talk about athletes and strictly athletic achievement, what they did in their sports, I'm gonna hit on Michael Phelps.
Hmm.
Michael Phelps, again, I agree with you. Strictly by medal count, the greatest Olympian right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I get stuck with Michael Phelps. I don't know if Michael Phelps, say Michael Phelps chose to play football, American football. I don't know if he would be as dominant in American football as he was at swimming. I don't think he would be a dominant baseball player. So to me, when it comes down to athlete, like your athletic prowess to Michael Jordan's thing. Yeah, he never made it to the majors, but he tried to play baseball and made it to the minor leagues.
So
LeBron
you would put Bo
James.
Jackson up there then?
I think Bo Jackson's in the conversation. I think LeBron
Mm-hmm.
James in the conversation because, like, I think you could, like, right now. I mean, I don't know about right now because of his age, but LeBron, like in his 20s, 30s, I think he would have been an elite tight end in the NFL because he is just an athletic specimen. Like, I think if you taught LeBron James how to ice skate, which maybe he knows how to ice skate, I think he would be an elite hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear athlete, like, to me, Michael Phelps, he is like, has the most perfect body for swimming. Would that transfer to other sports? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it does. And I understand to be an Olympian, you have to dedicate yourself so much to your one craft that, you know, you really can't dabble in other sports. But again, I look at someone like Phelps, I look at someone like Simone Miles, and you know, if Simone tried to be an elite soccer player, I don't know if it would transfer over. And I feel like when we talk about greatest athletes, we have to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really valid point. And again, I think it's tough. See, I mean, because when you say that, I kind of think of like if what you just said of like if we place them in another sport, you think they would dominate. But we actually have to see them in that sport before we even think that they would be able to dominate, right? So to your point though, if that's the case, then I think Deion Sanders would be
Yeah.
because he
Deion
did
Sanders.
actually do it in two sports, baseball
Mm.
and football, and he was good in both sports. So, but again, the accolades and the he definitely got stylish points because he was prime time.
Yeah.
But what else did he do besides look cool? You know that he was a trendsetter like that of being iced out and showing off his money and showboating all that stuff like that. Do we? But playing two sports, he proved that he could do that, and he did it simultaneously also. So I don't know. It's kind of hard. I would say if you die, if you the only I won't say like because I was about to say I would say the dominance in a sport, like again, going back to Michael Phelps, winning all those goals, and not just though, but he's won other international things too. Like he has a ton of other
Yeah.
trophies, and like it wasn't just the Olympics. So he's been dominant in in swimming. Like he dominated that sport. Um, but again, if we go back to, I could be wrong here, but is it Bill Russell who has 11 rings?
Yeah.
You know,
Bill
what,
Russell. Yeah.
yeah, wasn't that like so? What because he has 11 rings, is he better than Jordan? Like,
Yeah.
what did he transcend like then? Like, I just don't. Besides him, and forgive me for saying this, but besides him being a tall brother playing against a whole bunch of little white dudes back then, obviously he's gonna dominate. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
what did he really do? And again, I could be speaking because I know someone who was probably way older than me who watched him play was saying, "Well, no, he did this, this, and this." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
But again, from what I've seen from Michael Jordan, and again, hearing the stories of Muhammad Ali, I don't. And maybe it's just an NBA thing. I just don't hear the same stories about Bill Russell that I do hear
Yeah.
about other athletes and other sports that transcended sports and
Yeah.
out like not just in the sport but outside of the sport too. So yeah, it's just again, if I could be 100% wrong here about the whole Bill Russell thing, I don't know. I'm the lack of
Yeah.
knowledge there,
That's a good
but
point about Bill Russell.
yeah, but he has 11, which means he dominated that
Yeah.
sport. So does that put him at the top also? And I will say, from watching, the the NBA shows and stuff like that, when they name the top athletes, Bill Russell is always at the top because he dominated that sport. I just don't know outside of that exactly what else would make him, be that
Yeah.
trendsetter. That's something I would research, and hopefully, when the next
Yeah.
podcast, maybe it's something that I could, look up and bring to the table, so I could just got have a little bit more knowledge. But if we talking again, two sports at the same time, Deion Sanders. If we talking about dominated a sport where no one else can, can do what you just did, Michael Phelps. That's another thing also, like, to your point, you know, we like if we took Leon Mashawn, I hope I'm saying his name right, but if we took him against Michael Phelps in his prime, could he do the
Yeah.
same thing that Michael Phelps? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no,
it's just
it would
hard.
be interesting. Unfortunately, it's something we'll never see, but yeah,
Yeah.
like
But at the time that Michael Phelps was dominated, there was no one like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the time that Michael Jordan was in the NBA, there was nobody that was, you know, doing the things that Michael Jordan was doing. That was like selling out crowds, making history across the country, going to the '92 Olympics, like just all the stuff that he did that transcended the NBA to make it what it is today. I mean, and they haven't talking about name like changing the logo to the
yeah.
Jordan logo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's just things like that.
They changed
I
did they
mean, what?
change the MVP? The MVP is now the Michael Jordan trophy, right?
Oh, is it?
I thought it was.
Okay, it could be.
I'm gonna fact check myself real
And Kobe
fast.
Bryant has a trophy too, if I'm not
Kobe
mistaken.
Bryant is another one. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I love what you're saying. This is
It
why I think this is I really and that's why I hesitate with this question because I think this is a whole episode. The
is.
Bill Russell thing, again, unfortunately, the other one I would compare to Bill Russell is Babe Ruth. Where does Babe Ruth fall in?
Yeah, and
He played
again,
like is so many to bring it full circle. I respect the hell out of Simone Biles. Like she does things I will never be able to do. She should be more than happy with what she's accomplished. When you talk about the greatest athlete, it's tough for me to hear that because there's so many other factors.
yeah,
That's such a difficult thing to talk about. I just don't know if I'm ready to put that label on anybody right now. To say
it's
you are the
true.
greatest athlete of all
But
time.
so the question then would be, when will we be able to put a label on that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
how long do we have to go before we even?
unfortunately, the answer is maybe we don't ever. Maybe we don't ever. But I think at the end of the day, if you want a positive spin on it, I think we talked about this with Tom Brady once that you gotta when you're witnessing greatness, it's sometimes hard to realize you're witnessing greatness in the moment. So when you understand you are witnessing greatness, maybe just enjoy it.
Yeah,
Just
that's
hey,
true.
I'm lucky to see what Simone Biles did. I'm
But
lucky to see Michael Phelps.
but unfortunately, the world that we live in, we want to label somebody as the greatest or something. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and
Like
I'm
it's
guilty
just
of that too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which and so what I propose this that one day on Socratic Sports that we do a greatest of all time bracket.
okay.
And but we come with that, like, why is Bill Russell the greatest of all time? If he was, like, because I need to educate myself, especially on that, because again, I wasn't around. Like the Babe Ruth thing. When I watch baseball and people talk about the greatest baseball players of all time, Babe Ruth was always at the top, but we don't get
Yeah.
why. I mean, even though he was he went from the Red Sox to the Yankees, but I don't get why he was such like why they adore him so much and what did he do outside of hitting baseballs that make him. I mean, because stories and stuff that I see, he was just smoking cigarettes, hanging out, like
He
living
was
his
in horrible shape.
life.
Like,
Why is he the
You know
greatest?
what's interesting? Is I had someone try to make the argument to me once, though, that the fact that he was so good with such like he had
That
horrible eating
shape?
habits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
imagine they made the case of like imagine what he would do today if he knew everything about like sports science that we know today.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's like, it's interesting. I mean, that's interesting thought
It
experiment. And we'll
is.
never
It
know,
is. It
but
is.
I also don't know if I believe the whole calling your shot thing with
Oh,
Babe Ruth.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's
And,
sometimes these athletes kind of take on mythology on
yeah, yeah,
themselves.
like one person says it, and then another person thinks another picture, and then another, and then it's true down like he did something that he like. Yeah, here that story. I'm thinking, baseball players today when they line up their baseball, she wound it up and like kept it too long, and then cleaned it back. So he can run it through. It's
He's
like,
gonna hit a home run.
um, so yeah, I don't know, but again, I would love to. That's what I'm saying. I think we should do an episode, and
Yeah.
we're calling it live, people, right on air. That one of the episodes we will do is the greatest athletes of all time. We will have what, a bracket of, I don't know, 24 or something like
Yeah.
that. Because I mean, there's a lot, and then
It's a
we can
lot.
just go down and like do like a I don't know, one sports bracket, one Olympian bracket, like just something, and
And
just
meet at the
meet in the middle
championship.
and just
That's cool.
and then and through that we decide, okay, you know what? To us, this is the
This is
greatest
the
athlete
greatest
of all
athlete of all
time.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should do that. So just I mean, even though yes, I agree with you, we should sit back and enjoy it. But as humans, we
It's
want
fun
to
to talk
label
about.
people.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fun to talk
yeah.
about. It's
And so yeah,
intriguing.
let's do that.
And
All
then
right, cool.
last note, in
Yeah.
2022 they changed it to the Michael Jordan Trophy. So that is the
Okay.
NBA MVP
That is the
trophy
image.
now.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, good to know.
What's
So all right, so
next?
it's like no, that was a great one though, dude. I'm serious. That again, we could have did a whole episode on that,
Yeah.
which we will do now because of that conversation. So we will do that. But next, we're talking about the 2028 LA Olympics, man, coming up in 4 more years. So what do you think? Do you have any thoughts yet on the 2028 Olympics coming up?
I think it's gonna be bigger and better than any Summer Olympics. I mean, it's in the
Mm,
US. We haven't hosted since 96. To your point, I think a lot of the athletes we just watched do this Olympics will show back up. And I mean, we were dominant this Olympics. I can't
yeah.
even imagine what next Olympics in front of your home crowd,
Yeah.
which, to the gentleman we've been talking about a lot lately, even the great Phelps never got to do an Olympics in front of his own country.
Oh,
So
that's
I
true.
think that's just going to amp everybody up. The I think the opening ceremony they're going to include something to do with like the Walk of Fame, and I mean it's going to be the celebrities that show up is going to be ridiculous. I think it's going to be bigger, bolder, and just everything you can imagine and more. So it's going to be a good
So
one.
wait, do you? I mean, good point with Michael Phelps. What are the odds that he comes back and I don't. I mean,
43. He'll be 43 years old.
he'll be 43. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Well, you know what? I mean, 43 is. I mean, yeah. I mean, they try. I mean, damn, I'm trying to like
It would be a
combat that.
bad
Like,
idea for him to come back because he's not going to
but
win.
like, come on now, you don't think he can outshine some of these young dude? If he lost, just to see him out there, do you know all eyes would be on swimming if he did that? Like, dude, because that would be like a hope and dream of, bruh, imagine Michael Phelps winning gold for the US and the US, dude. Yo, be like, I'm like, man, you done got me excited. I'm shooting stuff like that, dude. But anyway, yeah, to your point, I'm super excited too. It's kind of weird though. I heard them, I forgot where, so forgive me. Let me see if I could look up on my phone real quick. Because they mentioned the locations. I know it's LA, but I think they had some in like Indianapolis too. Like the
Right?
prelims will be in Indianapolis, and then they will fly to LA to do the gold like the medaling and stuff like
Okay.
that. Hold on,
It's
let me see.
possible. I mean, the surfing
2028
for this past
simple.
Olympics took place in Tahiti because it technically is like a French territory. So,
Ah,
I mean, it's
oh wow, I didn't
possible
know
that the
that.
surfing will take place in Hawaii, but I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah,
think you could do surfing in LA, so yeah,
yeah.
we'll see.
So let me see. Mm, I mean, they're not really saying anything. All right. Well, again, yeah, like you said, I heard somewhere where they said it was going to be in the whole plan out. So it is going to be like around the US. Majority of it is going to be in LA though, but I think they're going to have prelims around the country. So that'd be super cool also. But yeah, I'm super excited for again watching the USA men's basketball team dominate the way they did, Steph Curry and everything. That was probably the last time we see Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD
Hmm.
all on one team. You could definitely see KD coming back with Ant doing that thing again. Don't know if Jason Tatum coming back because obviously with the whole him not playing as much as he should have controversy, which again we got the top, even though he did win the NBA championship, but I mean, obviously playing with other players, and two of his teammates were on the Olympics. Um, that that whole controversy with him, like hopefully he does come back, redeem himself, and play good because he is a great player. But you have so many other athletes there. But it was exciting to see USA dominate and play. But also just the competition out there. I mean, Serbia was better than I thought they were. France was better than I
Yeah,
thought they were. And so yeah, just I think the overall the countries are playing so much better now. And it just makes for great basketball. Simone Biles coming back. I don't know if she will. I think they said she'll be like in her 30s by the time she come back. Um,
she'll be
and as we
31.
know, 31. So as we know, is the history um uh uh of athletes in
Yeah.
the
Especially
Olympics.
gymnasts.
Yeah, they're super young. So
Yeah.
imagine watching, a 31-year-old be a gymnastic in the Olympics. I mean, that'd be, I mean, again, we would, to your point though, as the previous conversation we had about the greatest athletes, if she's 31 winning gold, something we have
It's
to
a yeah,
include
she's up
on
there. I
another,
mean,
yeah,
she
on
adds into
another
the
division.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure. But if Michael Phelps can be, there's no more conversation. There's no more. So that's the end of the conversation right there. I don't want to talk about anything else. Let's come back. But but yeah, we had that, and so yeah, I'm super excited. Again, just watching the overall um the uh the way that these athletes compete against one another, just the camaraderie, the
mhm.
love, the fun, just how much it means. I mean, even man, watching I don't know if you've seen it, but they had the oh this is real quick a bone I got to pick, and I'm glad I'm throwing this in there right now. But they had the Olympic golf, and
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler won gold, came back, he shot 9 under on his last day to win the Olympic gold. It was, I mean, the his back nine, it was unbelievable. He played well, and trust me, I woke up super early to watch it. But it was something that was, man, I loved it so much. But I have a bone to pick with golf in the Olympics. I don't understand why we do individual.
Yeah.
Um, Now, yes, is uh other sports are individuals and they head to head, but I think golf, just like we do with the Ryder Cup, um that we should just do it as a country. If we have we I think we should take the three combined scores of that country, and then the lowest one wins the medal. I think that's what we should do. Now, am I happy for Scotty? Yes. I'm happy for Hideki Matsuyama won bronze, and I forgot who won silver.
It was
But
Fleetwood, right?
yes,
Was it
Tommy
Tommy
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
He should have
Um,
won. Like he had easy shot at gold and just
yeah,
choked.
yeah, but Scotty played like he was so like I think Scotty stood a chance. John Rahm had it. If you, I
Yeah,
don't know, like I
John
said, I don't know
Rahm
if you saw
choked
it.
also.
John
Yeah,
Rahm was smoking him. I thought it was over. But anyway, I think that the changes. I think if it as the U.S. Because we only play now. I get other sports because they play multiple times. Like swimming, they have the team, they have the individual.
yeah,
Tracking, they have the team, they have the individual because they play multiple. They have multiple events with those.
yeah.
But golf is a one-time event, so we should, without a doubt, take the combined scores of that team of the team. Whatever the country you represent, then that should be the overall score, deciding if you win gold, bronze, or silver. So that's just my opinion, and because I don't think that because again, what I'm looking at, you know, with Rom playing the way he did and dropping all those shots back, but if he still won, if he played horrible on that last day and still won, but somebody played lights out and they lost, like imagine that, like if we had two top
Yeah.
U.S. guys, but the somebody from Spain did horrible but still won. It's just like, but if we was combined, we will win this. I just think a combined score would be much better. But anyway, so yeah, but I enjoy like, oh, but to my original point, watching Scotty Scheffler listen to the national anthem after he won, and he just started breaking down. I'm like, man, it's just don't do this right now. So I'm like, man, but this like just watching how much it means to them, I think it's got me amped up for 2028, and I think I'm really excited to see, especially in the USA, man. Now, do I wish it was somewhere outside of LA? Yes, because we all know how much I hate LA. But I'm happy it's here in LA, and I'm super excited about it. So
Where would you put it? That literally just made, if you had to pick a city in the U.S. for the
mhm,
Olympics, excluding
mhm,
Atlanta because they've hosted it, where would you
yeah.
put the Summer Olympics?
Hmm. So two places coming to mind. Um, Florida. Maybe like that. Because they have one. I mean, I'm being biased here, but golf is
Yeah,
the state. The state sport is golf in Florida.
yeah.
You have Dolphin Stadium that can be used for whatever. I mean, it's just it's an all around. I mean, there's ocean everywhere, so they're
Yeah.
swimming everywhere. I think it'll be a good place to host it. Another one would be New Jersey. Not because I'm from there, but I think because of the amount of room and stadiums that we have over there, that I think we'll be able to host it really well. I think those are really two booming areas that I think. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anywhere else.
It's
You?
interesting you said New Jersey because I would do Philly, and you could
Okay,
combine
that's a
it.
good
You could
one.
combine it with Jersey,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
because I mean a lot of people attribute Philly as the birthplace of the country,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they have the
that's good.
infrastructure.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
yeah, I
really
think
good.
Philly would
Yeah,
be.
that's really good.
So,
So
sorry, on to the on to the next
yeah,
thing.
on to our next one. So again, as we pre-talked before coming on here, but breaking news: break dancing will not be a part of the 2028 Olympics, and I don't know um uh if anybody had. Well, I'm sure you've seen it if you've been following social media, but this young lady, I wanted to say her name is Raina, from Australia. She's being made fun of all over because of the way she was dancing for uh, break dancing for her country. And just breakdancing just didn't look like something that you would normally see if you watch breakdancing like on uh in other countries, or just like breakdancing you attribute to being hip and being like just your body just moves a certain way, it flows, it just looks super cool. But this Raygon lady just looked like she was, you know, like she was spoofing herself kind of thing. But again, I mean, I do feel bad for her because after doing a bit of research, she seems like she was really trying to do it. But the ultimate question is like, is a one and done fair for this? Should they bring it back? And if not, what sport would you replace breakdancing back? That's not, a sport right now.
So breakdancing, or breaking as they kept calling it. I was like, why are you just saying breakdancing? Why are we calling it breaking? Well, like, it had
That was
no
funny.
business in the Olympics. Like, I
It's cringe. Like when I was watching it, bro, I was just like, what am I
Dude,
watching
like
right
the
now?
whole like they tried to do the hip hop vibe with it, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah,
had like the dome, and everybody was
yeah.
trying to, and they're like they had an MC, and they're like, here we go, like they're coming
Yeah,
out in
yeah.
like these goofy outfits, and I'm sitting there, I was watching the gold, I guess what turned out to be the gold medal match between the French
Okay.
guy and the Japanese guy, I think.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
And like, listen, what they did, very impressive, but
I
like
couldn't do
an
it.
Olympic sport. Like they're like taunting each other and like move. I was like, what is this? Who approved this? Listen, breakdancing is an art form. You don't see painting or musical theater or any of this other stuff or ballet in the Olympics. Breakdancing shouldn't be in the Olympics. I'm sorry. Like,
Okay.
kudos. Now, the flip side to that is everybody that medaled this year will be the only ones probably to be able to say they medaled in breakdancing in the
That's true.
Olympics. And
That's
no one will
true.
be able to say that. So
That is true.
that's cool for them. We got bronze as a country, I think, in the men's. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we did. We did. Yes, we did.
I was
We
over it.
did.
As soon as I saw it, like literally got like 2 minutes into it, and I was like, what is this? And they held
Yeah,
it for the very end of the Olympics too. Like it was like one of the last events.
yeah.
Anyways, in lieu of breakdancing,
Uh-huh.
I want to see dodgeball as an Olympic event.
Oh, that's actually really good. All
Yes.
right, I like
That
that.
would
I
be a
like
really
that.
cool Olympic event.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So there's a
Yeah.
dodgeball association. It's decently, I don't know, you could do it. You could make it happen. I mean, flag football is going to be in the next Olympics. Like you could easily
Yeah.
do dodgeball. So,
Yeah.
what about you?
So, um, so I had two, right? My first one, right, was UFC. I think, well, MMA.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think now, because we have, I think it was boxing, and then we have taekwondo, and
Mm.
things like that. Those are cool, but I think the popularity and how big the UFC is, and they already do international fights and everything like that. But I think to see who is the baddest MMA across the world under one place. Now, the hard part about MMA though is that the recovery process, because
Yeah.
the Olympics aren't that long. So it'd be hard.
Mhm.
So that's when I was like, oh, we wouldn't be able to do that, but it would be cool to see, right?
They would just have to
So
make adjustments like they do with boxing. Like there would have to be like padding involved. It
right,
would
yeah,
have to
yeah,
be,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think because it's so gruesome, you know, it would have to be a more technical. When I say gruesome, I mean, fans, we live for the knockout, the killer
Yeah.
shot, and all that stuff like that. But I think with MMA, it has to be more technical with more takedowns if we're going down this route. And I don't think that's again, they already have like Taekwondo and I think Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if they have Jiu-Jitsu, but they just have other kind of forms of Olympian combat sports that they have. But anyway, like I got super excited about that, but then I was just like, that won't work again because of the recovery process. So that's my mind started going, okay, well, like what doesn't require a recovery process and what would be fun? And I don't know why, Joey, but this popped in my head. But I think we should have cornhole as an Olympic sport.
Carlos, I swear on my internal life, when you were winding up to like be like, I don't know why I thought this. I'm like, this guy's gonna say cornhole, and that was my second one. So that was the first one I thought of before dodgeball. I was like, why don't they
Yeah,
do cornhole?
yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Like when cornhole is on TV,
Yeah.
dude, I'm like, man, this is like watching them throw the beanbag and like doing in a hole and stuff like that. But again, cornhole is one of those like international events where everybody, like everybody plays cornhole. Like I've seen different cultures play cornhole, and I think that'd be super cool. So
It's
yeah,
also one people could relate to. They could be like,
yeah,
I could do that. I could
mhm,
be an Olympian. Go out to their backyard and just
yeah.
start.
Dude, that'd be so cool. So yeah, I think so. Let's see if we get a petition for cornhole and dodgeball to
Dodgeball, dude.
be in the
I think
Olympics.
dodgeball will be a hit. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
agree. I think that'd be. I didn't even think about that. I think that'd be super cool. So so now on to this is a fun and for like I said, we have obviously before we jump on this podcast, we talk about what we're going to talk about during this episode. So I pegged the question to old Joseph over there, and he has written down his answers. And shout out to the Makeshift Project on Instagram. They're really cool, two dudes that has like these great questions and stuff. And I thought it was a great question that I saw, and I was kind of like blown away by it. So I wanted to pose the question for Joey because I don't think he's seen it. But um, what are the 5 Olympic sports that the USA has never medaled in? Bronze, silver, or gold. 5 sports that the USA has never medaled in. Joey, on you. What do you think the 5 sports are?
Okay. So I want to preface this as I do not lie. So I swear on my life, I didn't look these up. I did
Hmm.
look up Olympic sports because I don't know all of them off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in no particular order,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's handball, badminton, equestrian, rowing, and table tennis.
Okay.
Did I get
So,
any right?
okay, I'll do this. Joey, you did very well. You got
What?
three.
Really?
You got three
Oh.
out of 5. So I won't tell you what 3 you got left, but I will give you a chance to take away 2 and replace it with 2.
All right. Let me pull up my list then.
Okay.
Do a little Jeopardy music.
Okay.
Do, 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 do. All right. So I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take away rowing.
Okay.
I'm going to take away badminton.
Okay.
So that leaves me with handball, equestrian, and table tennis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will replace them. Give me track cycling
Okay.
and field hockey.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm not gonna second guess myself. Those are my
All right.
final answers.
So you went from 3 out of the 5 right to 2 out of the 5 correct.
Oh,
Batman was one of them.
uh,
You should have kept Batman. But
damn.
so I will give you the 3 that you have first. So
So
table tennis
badminton
was
was one
right.
of them.
Yep.
Table tennis,
Badminton. Uh-huh. And handball.
handball. Okay.
Yep. So those were 3. So the last 2, uh, rhythmic gymnastics.
Rhythmic gymnastics.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's the thing with the
Uh,
whatever that is. I hope you got that on video of me going like
I mean,
that.
it's all recorded, so.
And then the last one, trampoline.
So you know what? I saw trampoline
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, what is that? But
Yeah.
it was so odd that I was like, I bet we've meddled in it. Interesting.
A lot of things we've meddled in, trust me.
All right.
So yeah, those
Damn.
are the five sports. So yeah,
We've meddled in equestrian.
I
I would
guess
not
so.
have guessed that.
Yeah,
Damn. Because
yeah,
that equestrian was actually one of the ones rowing. I questioned. I was like,
yeah,
I can see
yeah.
like us meddling and rowing.
If I'm mistaken, I could be wrong also, but I think there's a movie about rowing in the USA and them winning.
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
think it
right. I didn't
was.
think about that. Yeah, it's really big, like in the Northeast, like at the Ivy League schools. Rowing's really
Yeah.
big.
And
They
then
call it
equestrian is
something
the
else.
horse thing, right? With the horse
Yeah.
dancing. Okay. So no, apparently we meddled in that too. I don't know when, but we did.
Okay.
So yeah, that
Man.
was it. So hey, but listen, I'll give you the 3 out of 5. That was hey, you got three right. That was a really good guess. I give you that. That was a good job, buddy.
Uh,
So
thank
I mean that's the end of our Olympic talk. Great recap. I thought that yeah, I'm really glad that we was able to talk about the Olympics
you.
and I mean because that brought up the greatest athlete, just definitely great topics that I think yeah was definitely needed especially us being away for so long. So that was really cool. But it is the second week of August, Joey, which means that the preseason for the greatest sports of all time, the NFL, is coming back in a month. Um,
America.
yeah.
Football.
Yeah. So,
Real football.
real football. So tell me, Joseph, what are you most excited about on this upcoming NFL season?
So, I was gonna say I'm excited to see because this was one of the most uh first drafted quarterbacks in the first round in a long time. So I was excited to
Mm,
see all of the first round rookie quarterbacks and when they would eventually start.
mm-hmm.
That took a little bit of a hit because news came out today that JJ McCarthy for the Vikings is
Heard it,
going
so.
to have
Yep.
surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows when he comes back? Um, but really, I'm excited to see what Aaron Rodgers does. I hope that we get a full season of him with the Jets. Uh, you had a lot of quarterbacks that were paid. Tua got paid.
Mm.
Jordan Love got paid for some reason. So
What
there's
do
a
you
lot of
think?
high.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a joke. Like, I don't get it. You have one playoff win. You blew what basically was a sure win against the Niners. How are you? You've had one full season under your belt. How do you become the highest paid quarterback? I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It makes zero sense to me. I feel like Green Bay could have waited a year. They gave him a lot of guaranteed money for a quarterback that I'm sorry, I just don't think is proven. So we'll see. I mean, at this point, when you pay him that money, in my mind, if Green Bay does anything, if they fall short of not winning the division, the season's a failure. They don't have to win the
Mm.
Super Bowl. They don't have to go to the Super Bowl. You should win that division at this point, though, if you're
Yeah.
being paid that kind of money.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, now I'm just excited that it's back.
Yeah.
Excited for fantasy football.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one this year.
Yeah. 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 I'm excited too. Yeah. We just take away the Chiefs because I'm tired of them winning every
Mhm.
freaking year. Especially against my boys, the Niners. But I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs, so there's nothing to talk about there. But again, I think I'm just excited to your point of all the changes and the moves that has been made. Does the spotlight shine now on these, like does the Steelers get the spotlight with their new
Mhm.
quarterbacks? Um, will the Cowboys be the Cowboys? Joe Burrow, will he look like Joe
Yeah.
Burrow of old? Is Aaron Rodgers, if he back? It's just all these questions that I'm just super excited about to get answers for too. And so yeah, and I'll start. One of the questions that I have is, who is overlooked and who is overhyped going into this NFL season? And the reason why I ask that is because obviously our next podcast will be us breaking down the divisions of this upcoming season. Most likely it'll be a two-parter where we talk about the NFC, then we talk about the AFC standings and our
Mm.
predictions for the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. Um, so yeah, but right now I would I so I've been toggling about this. Overhyped, I was gonna go with the Eagles. No, sorry, Joseph. Now my keyword was because again, looking at it, you have the you have the star power, you have everything going. I mean, you just got Saquon, your defense is great, all that other stuff, right? And I was just like, but is that too much star power on your team? That's where I went. But then I realized you guys play in the NFC East. So let me just stop right then and there. Like, yeah, there's no way I'd be surprised if anything happens.
Hey, the Giants have Daniel Jones, okay? That's an elite
Yes.
quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Who I
Mm.
got going the 0-10 Giants, who I got going 0-10 to start the season. Yeah, I really believe in them. But yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, huh, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go down that route. But now I could be wrong. Um, and the only reason I say this because I don't think there has been enough talk. But I think that one of the overlooked teams that I see are the Houston Texans, and they got Stephon Diggs now, and that offense nothing changed. Like they are. I
They
think they
also
did
got
lose
Joe
someone on
Mixon.
defense. Oh, yeah, they got Mixon, but I think they lost a big key on defense. I don't remember who. But I think that was like the biggest change. I could be wrong, but anyway, and again, we'll go down as we talk about the NFL. But right now, starting, I think the Joe Mixon, to your point, and to the Stephon Diggs add-on to that offense with I think CJ Stroud should have got paid quicker than Love did, honestly, because CJ Stroud just looks, he's last year he was a stud. I'm hoping for a repeat this year because I think they can make some real noise in the AFC. So I think right now, my from what I'm gathering so far is that the Houston Texans haven't been talked about much, and I think they are the overlooked team, the overhyped team. You know, I hate to just go on them, but the Cowboys. I mean, they haven't left. They don't leave the media. The talk of, what's crazy? And I get it. I get it. I understand, right? Okay, the CD Lamb contract, CD Lamb should be paid immediately. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about you shouldn't be in contract talks with CD Lamb. He is a top wide receiver, top three maybe in this league right now. He is your superstar right there. Now, Dak, he wants to talk about contract extensions and all that stuff like that. Dak, what blows my mind, I didn't realize this because I was with family members and we was talking about, oh, the cap space for the Cowboys and, why they not signing CD and blah, blah, blah. But then I saw Dak is making $55 million this year. Bro, playing us $55 million and then go sign a new contract. What? Just when you're about to get paid. No, I can see why. Because you know what, and I could be totally wrong here, right? But my first thought when I saw that is that is he trying to get guaranteed like a couple of more years of guaranteed play with the Cowboys, just in case I don't play well with this $55 million this year? You know what I'm saying? Like, is
Yeah.
that Is that what's going on here? Like that? That's why I'm like, hmm. So if you make that much money, bruh, just don't even say CD should be the only one talking right now. I should not. You're making $55 million. I shouldn't be hearing not one thing from you at all. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys and Donald, the viewer. I know Donald watches that episode. Who's one of our really good friends, Cowboys fan.
Hi,
Sorry, buddy.
Donald.
Hi,
Uh,
Donald. Sorry, buddy. But the Cowboys for me are just every year is something about these freaking Cowboys, and I'm tired of it. I would say Kansas City, but again, I don't hear anybody else talking in Kansas City. All they do is win. Shout
yeah,
out to DJ Khaled.
a
You
team
know,
that has 3 Super Bowls in the past,
yeah, it's
what,
just
like
like you
5 years? You can't say they're overhyped. I mean,
can't say
there's, yeah.
anything. So, unfortunately, Cowboys, you are being picked on just because of everything that's going on, and your owner who's what, 120 years old? I forgot his age, but who needs to just give it up
No,
and
he's
let
probably
somebody
younger than
come.
that. He just looks really bad because all the stress from the team.
Yeah, seriously. Somebody has to be coming in and make some real decisions for this team because if you're America's team, this should not be happening. So yeah, but those are my two right there. So what about you?
Cool. All right, so I'll start with my negative. I'll start with the overhyped.
Hmm.
You know it's coming. You're going to give me a look. I respect it. The New York Jets. I'm
Uh,
so tired of hearing about the Jets. Oh my
that's
God. Like,
last year. I'm all for it. This year, whatever you want to say about the Jets, I'm over it.
it's just it's more drama with Aaron. He wasn't showing up to practice. He's on
Yeah.
what, some stupid ayahuasca, whatever the crap he does. Like I'm so over
Uh,
now you have the whole Hassan Reddick. Reddick wants out.
oh yes, I saw that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy the whole year, and I don't think they'll be as bad as last year. And they really weren't. I mean, they weren't terrible even without Rodgers, but I don't think this is the Jets year, like some people keep saying.
Mm,
I'm not with it. I don't think Aaron's gonna be the Aaron of old. I'm tired of the Jets.
yeah,
Till they make it to the playoffs, then you could start talking about the Jets. I don't want to hear
yeah.
anything about them until that happens.
Yep, I hear that.
So they're my overhyped. The Devontae Adams talk every now and then keeps popping up.
Mm,
Overlooked. So I was gonna go with the Saints,
mm,
but I don't know. I started looking at their depth chart, and I think the NFC South is gonna be a little bit better than I gave it credit for.
mm.
So ultimately, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
I think the Buffalo Bills are overlooked. I understand they lost Stephon Diggs. Yes, that's a big loss. But Josh Allen hasn't showed me anything these past 4 years to make me think he's gonna be still not playing at a very high level.
mm,
They still have James Cook, who's a good running back. They drafted Keon Coleman. Every year you have that kind of rookie wide receiver that has a breakout year. Maybe that's him.
mm,
Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. You still have a good 1-2 punch at tight end.
mm,
And you still have a good defense. I mean, you still got Ed Oliver. You got AJ Espinoza. Von Miller can still turn it on. Matt Milano is still there. Taylor Rapp, they still have in the safety position. I think it's a combination of, I think the Bills are going to be better than people expected. I think the AFC East isn't. Obviously, I don't think the Jets are going to be that great. I don't think Miami's going to be as good as everybody thinks they're going to be.
mm.
On top of that, even with Tua getting paid, can you trust Tua? So again, the Bills have won the division since Tom Brady left. And I think they even won it his last year, which was the 2019 year. No, they didn't win it. Take that back. So for 2020 on, the Bills have won the division. So it's 4 straight years. I'm not going to count out the Bills. I think they're still a force to be reckoned with.
Mm. Well, hey, listen, I'm not gonna disagree with you there. You know, losing Stephon Diggs is huge, but hey, I wouldn't count the Bills out either. And you don't hear much about them after they lost them. So yeah,
So remember, the
I agree.
Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill and
Yeah,
still
and they
went on to
still,
win a Super Bowl. So that's
yeah,
the, and again, I'm not saying Josh Allen is Mahomes, but I would say Josh Allen's done enough to where he's like right on the borderline of elite quarterback. So
yeah. Okay. All right, and last topic for the day. So the reason why
right.
this came up is because I was trying to figure out exactly, obviously talking about the Olympics, but what else to talk about today on our podcast. And again, I jumped to the NFL because the preseason is starting, and we got a lot to talk about there. Again, talking about the Olympics, but man, for some reason, baseball just crossed my mind that we are, almost close. Another probably a little over a month left before the playoffs start. And I'm a huge Yankee fan. Like, I follow the Yankees. We actually going to see them play next month. Super excited about that here in Texas against the Rangers. Um, and so, but this question dawned on me because I forgot about it. Is baseball still relevant to this day? Now, I don't know the viewership. I don't know if people are watching it. I mean, I don't know if stadiums are being sold out. Like, I don't know. But again, I just overlooked it. And not saying I don't. Again, I love my Yankees. What Aaron Judge and Juan Soto is doing. I mean, we are, you know, I want to say tied first in our
Yeah.
division with the Orioles. Um, so I mean, I know what's going on, but again, it just didn't dawn on me like, hey, let's talk about baseball. So my ultimate question, Joey, is baseball still relevant?
So I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to
Okay.
attack this question from two angles. So,
Mm,
one, I will go the statistics route. So,
okay.
you mentioned viewership. So,
Mm,
according to the Ministry of Sport website, the All Star game attracted 7.6 million viewers this year, which was a 6% increase from last year.
okay.
Now, I personally think a lot of that had to do with Paul Skeens, who I'll come back
True.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh actually emerged as the top individual market for the first time in over 50 years, which means
Oh
they're
wow.
having the highest viewership rating.
Mm,
Again, probably because of Paul Skeens.
mm,
MLB is averaging 28,805 tickets sold per game on average. So that's almost a 1% increase from last year. And it maintains, which I thought was even more interesting, 2023 had a 9.6% increase in tickets being sold for live games. Both ESPN and Fox have increased viewership. So ESPN's up by 6%. Fox is up by 7%. ESPN's got about 1.59 million people watching the games they broadcast. Fox has about 1.98 million watching the games they broadcast. So it's up. Like, I'll be honest, that surprised me because I thought the same thing kind of with you. I don't know a lot of people that still follow baseball
mm.
pretty intensely, but I was wrong. I mean, it's increasing. The one caveat is the home run derby actually had an 11% decline in viewership. And then there's just some other issues going on with baseball. The whole A's thing, the A's are moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
The White Sox are abysmal. They keep calling for ownership to sell.
Who just had a 21? Was it the White Sox who had a 21 game losing streak? Oh,
Yep, they
okay, okay.
tied for the most in record.
Mm, mm,
Luckily broke it before they beat the record.
yeah.
I think they're still possibly on pace to lose the most games of all time.
Oh wow.
And then also there's something about there's a group called the Diamond Sports Group that's in bankruptcy right now. I think they have something to do with the MLB. So that's a little negative. So you got to kind of take the negative with the positive. I will also say I don't believe it's America's pastime anymore. I think American football has taken that crown. Like,
Mm,
when you think American sports, I think football is the first thing you think of. I don't think it's baseball anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of relevancy, I'd say yes, it is still relevant, especially when it comes to playoffs. And on a personal note, I think there's still something, even if you don't know anything about baseball, when it comes to the playoffs and especially when it comes to the World Series, there's something to like, you're in the bottom of the ninth, you're sitting down and you're just watching that pitcher batter battle. And I still like, even if I don't care about either one of the teams, it's just still like there's some anxious feeling because there's no time clock, because it's this kind of mental
Clock now,
battle.
though.
Well, there's a pitch clock.
Yeah, pitch clock.
But
yeah,
I mean, like, like basketball, football, they have like an
I
actual
got
time.
you.
There's
Yeah.
still like this mental game the pitcher and the batter go through that you kind of, because that game matters so much. I still get anxious. I still enjoy watching it. To this day, if you could like, I had a fairy godmother and she said you could be any professional type of athlete of all time. Right now, I would choose a professional baseball pitcher. I think it's such a cool position. So I think there's still excitement to be seen with it. So I don't think it'll ever fully go away. What I think it needs, and I think the numbers kind of bear this out, I think it needs more star power. Right? Like football, you have your Mahomes, you have your Allens, you have your Tyreek Hills, you have these people that are kind of larger than life. Basketball, obviously you got LeBron, you have Steph, you have even the newer guys like Victor Wembanyama. Hockey has, even hockey, you kind of make the star power claim outside of Austin Matthews. Baseball just needs somebody like that. I think they're on the right track with a Paul Skeens. I think Adley Rutschman, the young team that the Orioles have, that's kind of pulling on that star power. Aaron Judge, for a while, looked like he was going to be that guy. So I think that's what baseball needs to really push itself even further. But I think it still has a place in society. So
yeah. To your point with the star power, unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever get to that point. Only because what you just mentioned with those NFL teams is they play once a week, and so when you play every day, you don't get the same. You won't get Paul Skeens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you did, then okay, maybe this would be a different conversation. But the fact that we need a rotation of four other pitchers who we don't know nothing about, just to make sure that the team wins, I think that's tough. So I don't think we'll ever see that. Do we need more? I think we need more of uh
do you
I
think
would
a shorter schedule would help?
yes. So
I agree.
one of my big the one takeaway I was going to mention is I think what kills baseball is it being 162 games. Because again, we get we get football for 17 weeks. And then once it's gone, we miss it like crazy and we can't wait to get it back. Basketball, we get it for 82 games of the year. Well, for a season, we get 82 games plus playoffs. And so, but with basketball, you get 5 players at a time, and you see the superstar of that player every single night they play. Just about, unless they're resting, and that's when things go down. When you find out that Victor is not playing for the Spurs tonight, it's like, oh crap, I'm not gonna, I don't want to watch this game. He's not there. LeBron is out. Oh, I'm not watching. So but when the stars are playing, all eyes are on there. Baseball can be said, about, if I'm watching Aaron Judge every night, great. But again, Aaron Judge can't play every night, so they sit Aaron Judge, or they sit the star players, so they might not play every night, so you don't see them. But I think if we shorten that season, we get an opportunity to see the star player play well, I wouldn't say every single game, but majority of the season. Plus, I think we get a more wanting of the game. So just like I mentioned before um with football, the 18 weeks, like we can't wait for September to come back around because it's coming back. With baseball, we drop it down to 100 games. Let's say we remove 62 games. Essentially, we're moving just about the fall of 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 uh of baseball. Um, if we can, split that 100 50 have an all-star game, and then come back and finish the other 50, and then go into the playoffs. It'll be we're done at, you know, we're done at August, and then we go September, we're bringing back football, and then when football is done, we're coming back with baseball. It's just like this rotation of sports that I think is much needed. So I think that baseball overstays its welcome with all these games. Is it still relevant? I think it is, but I think what I'm saying about, how it's just like it's like one of those situations where I know baseball is still going to be there, so there's no need for me to talk
Yeah.
about it. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's the part that's really hurting baseball. I'm excited to go to the Yankees game, when they come. I know you are too. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch, Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, even though I'm not a fan of the Chiefs or the Bills. But I don't get that same excitement when I watch baseball because you know what? Yeah, I would love to watch the Dodgers versus the Yankees. But if Otani is sitting and Judge is sitting, I don't have that same excitement of watching that game anymore. And I think that's where baseball loses that because again, when the season is so long, um, that it's just like I don't want to watch it. And what I think will come from that also, Joey, is that I think that injuries will lessen also, where, with the Tommy John surgeries and everything that happens, now they're losing players for a long, long amount of time. I mean, even something as, it sounds little, but when they get like that something with their finger, it hurts to throw them. They get like the splinter or whatever it
They
is.
get blisters. Like
Blisters,
they
like
shut down pitchers for a couple
for a
games. Like,
long
yeah.
time, yeah. And so if we can eliminate a lot of, I mean, I know like it is hard to stop injuries from happening, but if we could implement something that gives it a chance to reduce the injuries, I think it'll be really helpful. So, do I think baseball's irrelevant? Yes. But I think that baseball needs to take a drastic change and do something to continue to keep it relevant. Because again, viewership is up, which I enjoy. And to your point, Paul Skeen coming aboard, that was a huge thing. The way Aaron Judge is swinging the bat is a huge thing. Shohei going to Atlanta, I mean LA, a huge thing. We still have, besides the White Sox, we still have, you know, good stuff happening in baseball to make it
They're
watchable.
so bad.
Yeah, yeah.
They're so bad.
We still have good competition going on, and so yeah, I think it's irrelevant. I just think that baseball definitely needs a facelift on how to keep it to be relevant in the next 10 to 15 years. So
Yeah, I totally agree with you. To me, an an ideal time would be NBA and NHL playoffs finish up roughly usually around the second week of June. Have the baseball season start the week after. Don't start baseball in April.
mm,
Still have it end around the same time. Because personally, I do like the playoffs being in October because you're in the swing of football season. But again, to your point, football, I mean, yeah, you have Thursday night, yeah, you have Monday night, but most of your games are on Sunday night. So in the middle of the week, you can still look forward to playoff baseball Saturday night, playoff baseball Wednesday night. So there's still like stuff going that's exciting. But I think it needs to start in the middle of June. I understand that every game matters, but it's hard when you're in the middle of May. It's hard to convince yourself that those games matter a lot.
right.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to get motivated to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still keep up with the scores. I keep up with the standings. We play fantasy baseball, but it's just difficult to swallow. A good example of this would be, at one point the Dodgers had a commanding lead of the NL West. They were up by like almost 10 games. Now Arizona is only 3.5 games back.
Mm-hmm.
Because the season's so long,
Mm-hmm.
it gives these teams the chance to catch up. So much
Yeah.
happens, which some people may like. And I mean, I guess that is cool that you have a tight race for the top. But again, it's such a long season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I only think like going back to the White Sox, like if you're on the White Sox,
It's like,
you are
what's this gonna be?
you are 41 and a half games out of first place of the AL Central. Like, what are you? Damn, I got to show up and play tonight.
It's funny.
Like, what do you do? It's
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
Also, the
So
baseball draft isn't it like 20 some rounds? It's
yeah,
also
it is a lot.
really long.
Yeah.
I think the draft should be cut down, but
Yeah. Yep. I
I don't know.
agree. But so yeah, I mean, yeah. So that I mean, we should include. I mean, and we will once the playoffs start. We'll have a lot to talk about with baseball. But unfortunately, again, with so much going on, I mean, we would have to literally dedicate, another podcast dedicated to baseball because to your
Yeah.
point, it just switches all the time. There is a lot going on because it's just a long season. So yeah. But man, let me tell you, I think out of all the episodes we've done together, I think this is probably one of the top ones. This is a
Really?
really good episode. I enjoyed
I'm
this
glad
one a
you think
lot.
so.
But
No, Jay, I'm glad. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
no, it's a
interesting.
great episode, man. I'm happy to be back in the flow.
Yeah.
I know all our uh I don't know if it's 13 now of viewers who watch us now, but people who are I know they missed us and we're happy to be back. And obviously because like we talked about before with work constraints and stuff, it's hard to continue to do this, but we will, I promise. ESPN, Fox Sports, all football, all the sports people, listen, stop us from working. Give us a job on shooting a podcast for your channel. So but we're gonna speak that into existence. But yeah, I mean, all those who are listening, we thank you. Always remember to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. You can find us on Socratic Sports on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all your streaming platforms. We are there. So yeah, but we thank you guys as always for listening. Great episode, Joey. Can't wait to get this uploaded and see what it's all about. So yeah, any last words, Joseph?
Just glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Love it. So until next time, peace.
Peace.
It's the best show you're not watching.